Good evening and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean, and here's some of the stories we have for you tonight. The aftermath of a drowning in Frederiksted. Did it have to happen? A march to freedom. And are you ready for some melee? These stories and more are up next on News Channel 8. In our top story tonight, a former police officer has drowned on a beach in Frederiksted. And ironically, a community leader complained about the lack of lifeguards in the area just earlier in the week. News Channel 8's Wes Small files this report.
We are dealing with the aftermath of the unfortunate situation down here by the Frederiksted Fish Market, where we had a former police officer lost her life yesterday in a drowning incident right in this area. I'm here with the attempted rescuers, actually, and her name, Elizabeth Rodriguez. She was only 42 years of age. She joined the VIPD in 1994, and she worked there until 2007. Here now with one of the first responders on the scene. And when you got to her, you were doing CPR. You were working on her for about 20 minutes?
Yeah, about 20 minutes. When the gentlemen, the 4 or 5 guys swim out and went on shore, I carried her. We tried our best. They had a few guys giving CPR, and I was trying to pump it as best as I can, and it was like too long for, I find it was too long for some of the officers to get there, which they're always roaming around, but we tried our best, man. It was like, we just tried. We tried the best.
You also, sir, were on the scene when this happened.
Yeah, somebody came down and said that there was a body in the water, so a couple of we went and swim in and get her out. And while we were bringing her in, she still had life in her, because when we turned her over, she was like breathed out, and then we brought her in, and that's whenever they started to deal with the CPR and so.
Okay. Well, Kendall Siegel Peterson, I know that you're not going to beat people over the head and say I told you so. No. But I mean, I had to think about this. That just a few days ago, you said, Wes, we don't have a lifeguard here. We need a lifeguard here. And there's also a message you want to put out about the clinic in Frederiksted.
Yeah, Wes. You see, first I want to give thanks to the heroes, you know, because it's the same brothers that just lie around here every day. I mean, if we wasn't here, she'd have been floating, she'd have been dead, you know, and we don't recognize our national heroes. But when I told you all the other day that we're the lifeguards, is here to prove it now, you know. It's a sad day. But I just want to bring to the people attention, man. We're there in Frederiksted. We have a hospital right there that is closed. We have a fire station right in Frederiksted town that don't still have an ambulance. Anything happening in Frederiksted, the ambulance have to come all the way from Sunnyers down here to save lives. I mean, that's a half an hour almost. You know, you're putting people's life on the line, and we need to do something about that, because when you have the tourist boat here, you have ambulance station here. You know, so it seems like the people of the land is of no value. You know, and like I'm saying, we're going to have a lot of children here summer. And this is not the first person that died here. We had Mr. Webster, an elderly fella that went in the water right there. And when we look around, he been floating. So, I mean, this is not our first experience of people dying around here, you know. So, I really want the governor and the government to really take it in hard, to station a lifeguard. This is a public beach. You have, like I say, you have a public bathroom there. You have a project there where the children, all the children from the town, just come here and swim here. Yeah. It's something need to be addressed. And our clinic need to be addressed too.
Near the fish market in Frederiksted, I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
And the Fort to Fort March was held early this morning on St. Croix. It's about freedom and the constant struggle to fight oppression. News Channel 8's Wes Small tells us more.
The Emancipation Fort to Fort walk has just been completed. Here with Senator Terrence Positive Nelson. We heard you on the radio this morning, and we hope you had a good turnout. Positive, you made it down here okay from Fort to Fort.
Yes, It was a walk again. I'm very proud of the turnout this morning. This morning at 5 a.m. we actually started walking at 5:22 or so, and we had over 500 walkers or so. I mean, the only challenge we had this year was trying to keep everybody in a big pile so we can come down in solidarity. But Emancipation Day 2009, the 161st anniversary, the 8th annual 4-to-4 Walk to Freedom was a success. Along the way, we probably picked up another 200 and some, so altogether we perhaps had about over 700 walkers. I mean, the people are saying that they're feeling the change. They're feeling the labor pains. We have to understand that these are hard times we're living in, but this is like the mother pushing the child down the birth channel. It's very painful, but she cannot stop, because if she stops, that child will not be born alive. So we have to keep pushing, and I think the people understand that. The people came out to show reverence, and you see I have on my Shaka Zulu warrior outfit today. The reason being, it is very upsetting to me, and as many of the speakers who grabbed the mic coming down are very displeased that the governor even considered taking away Emancipation Day. I mean, how can our chief executive, who should be learned in the history of the Virgin Islands and what Emancipation Day means to the Virgin Islands, because of cost-cutting measure, when there's so much fat in government, decide to take Emancipation Day? So that showed out today. The people remember that this was one of the days being considered, and they didn't like it. And we want to say to you, Governor John Percy, the Young Jr., that was a bad choice. It shows that you are disconnected to the people of the Virgin Islands. And I even heard them say that they should have come and asked for your resignation, just like they called Governor General Peter Van Scholten to demand freedom back then, because you can't lead the people if you don't understand and respect their history and their culture. You gotta love the people you want to lead. If you can't do that, then you need to move out of the way. And I'm not saying so because I've opened my mouth and say I run against him. But when someone, I mean, it hurts, man. And I just had to express that today. Today is Emancipation Day. Tomorrow is Independence Day. There's a difference. But it was a success. We shake the shackles, and Christian said, we shook the shackles here. We've completed the walk. We want to thank everybody, the Virgin Islands Police Department for the escort. We want to thank everybody who contributed. We still have a deficit, so if individuals want to help me with the overcost of the t-shirts I had to print and some of the things I had to get, because our budget was cut. We had no assistance this year. I would greatly appreciate it. As you know, I'm not rich, but I know that it's important to do this, and we will continue to do this.
Senator Positive Nelson.
Libertad! Freedom!
Thanks, Wes. Vitima has been made into a government agency. News Channel 8's Lee Carl reports from St. Thomas.
Government House, where the signing of the bill that reorganizes Vitima. That's Mark Walters there, along with many of the first responders, as the governor sat down to sign this bill. Young called for the reorganization of Vitima, tremendous accomplishment, working on this plan since September 2006.
The idea for what we have accomplished today actually started in December of 2006, before the Lieutenant Governor and I were even sworn in. I attended a meeting in Washington, D.C. with James Lee Witt and company, and had a brief discussion about emergency management, a vision, and our territory. And if there's one thing that has always stood out for me since 1989, when I served as Commissioner of Finance, was the impact on our community of Hurricane Hugo. Not just for the devastation that it caused us, but for the way that it altered how we approach disasters.
Thanks, Lee. And we have more news after the break. Stay with us on News Channel 8.